All right, time to immediately get into the first part of the show. Share the review.
You beat me to it. I was gonna say it.
Oh, you took forever. The movie this week is Creed 2. We reviewed Creed on last episode, episode 12. Go check that out and see the glowing review for that movie. Like we said on that episode, this is a two-part Creeder.
Creeder?
It's a verb.
Doesn't make it sound okay.
It's a two-part Creeder. We reviewed the first movie on the last episode. Very unprofessional, as some people like to point out.
Oh, wow.
I'm just going off that one person that said reviews should be done by professionals.
Oh.
So I'm that's my thing now. I'm giving very unprofessional reviews. All right, so in this episode we are going to continue this Creeder for part 2
That sounds
and
so creepy.
review the sequel to Creed. If you ain't seen the first Creed or cop the Blu-ray, go ahead and do that.
And then go see Creed 2.
All right, so on to the spoiler-filled review of Creed. Just to open things up, what did you think about Creed 2?
Creed 2 was an awesome movie. Michael B. Jordan did a great job per usual, and so did Tessa Thompson. I think Rocky did a good job too, or Sylvester Stallone did a good job. It was kind of predictable, but it was still a good movie.
This movie was a great movie, definitely around my top 5 for this year. I don't know if that's because I'm biased or not, but it is what it is. This movie was great, like you said. It was very predictable, and not just in the format that boxing movies are. Because I was seeing like people's reviews, and some people were saying that like hindered it, and then some people said that it was predictable. But what do you expect from a boxing movie? And I more agree with the people who say, what do you expect from a boxing movie? You expect for it to go through the same ups and downs, and for it to end on a very similar fashion. You expect for it to be inspirational. You expect for there to be like a montage training scene. You expect for the boxing matches to go all the way to the end, or the last one to go all the way to the end and end in some epic fashion where the protagonist either wins or barely loses. So I get all that, but the fact that I was able to predict the movie from, I won't even say, I guess about a little more than
20 minutes in.
Yeah, it was just like I knew he was about to fight, what was his name, Victor Drago?
Was that the son's name?
I think so. I hope so. Well, I just pulled that
Well,
name.
the son of Drago, so.
Yeah, his name was Victor. He was able to, when I knew he was about to fight him the first time, I immediately knew exactly how it was going to go. I knew he was going to get demolished.
Yeah, because the fight came too early in the movie. It came in like 20 minutes, like the movie just started and they're getting ready to fight, so.
Exactly, but then you able to get demolished. I knew he was going to jail, or not jail, going to the hospital. I knew that was going to give him mess his mental up when it comes to his fighting game. So I knew that he was going to take some time off.
That's sad for boxers. Like, oh, your one loss completely messes you up mentally.
But that was
you can't win everything.
That was a demoralizing loss. When you go in so confident, it depends on how you go. If you go in there thinking there's like, you're not even really thinking of with the other possible outcomes besides positive. You go in there with this just one track mindset, and you're doing it literally just off of emotion, not off of, this is my career. Then when the complete opposite happens, it can sort of mess you up mentally, but once again, it's predictable. He was going to be messed up mentally, have to like build himself up. He had the baby, that gives him new perspective on life, and he's able to just, really take a step back and think about it, go in and fight him again and beat him. Because for one, they're not going to make him lose twice in one movie to the same person. And he already lost the last fight in the first Creed. They ain't going to go Creed 1 and Creed 2 where he just loses the big fight at the end. Not going to happen. So,
plus, it wouldn't have been as monumental if he lost this fight again.
Yeah, we already had the moral victory basically in the first one where he was able to overcome his newness in the game and really put up a fight on this undefeated fellow. Now, if he would have did the same thing here, it'd be like, all right, we already saw that already.
Right, so it would have not had the same effect as it did in the first film.
Yeah, so I think that was really my only flaw of the movie was the sheer, besides like typical boxing movie, just the sheer predictability and the fact that anybody could have seen it coming a mile away, especially when you seen the trailer. You're like, okay, if that was in the trailer, then this happened in the movie so far. All right, bam. I can basically finish the movie myself, write it out, and without even seeing it, know exactly what happened. But, a movie's real good when you're able to know what's going to happen, and
you
it's
still love it.
Mhm.
And it was still predictable, but it was still a great movie.
and you're
I
able.
enjoyed every scene.
Yep, you get like into it, and you start having emotions and feelings and stuff, and that's why, like I know I'm Michael B. bias, but besides the bias, he is he is the greatest actor of this generation, and it's not because by generation I mean like young kids, they're the youngins. He's,
Okay.
I mean, to me, he's still a GOAT. He's a top 5 actor of all time.
He's one of my favorites. I just don't know if everybody else feels that way.
I think he's starting to show it because it's not only that he's talented, like he can actually act very well. Like he's just a great actor all the way. Like it was made abundantly clear from Fruitvale Station that he is a great actor. He can blend in well with the young people, but also still make older people see his talent as well. And he has, your movies, you have your typical scene where it just shows his talent. And that scene where he found out that his baby was deaf, or basically had hearing issues, he had that
hearing issues.
Hearing issues. He had that straight face, and then you seen from his facial expression that he saw things weren't going well, and then he let that single tear drop on his eye. It just came out of nowhere. You just like, yep, that's sheer acting talent. And just little stuff like that, sheer acting talent. But on top of his talent, he's also just likable as just an actor. Like he makes you root for his characters. His character in this movie, I mean, they want you to root for him, but he also just gives you that, like, he just seems like a cool person. He makes you want to root for him in movies. Even movies not like this, you just want to root for him because he brings that likability to the character, which is also, some talented actors don't have that likability factor in movies. They can't bring that. So
I'm not arguing with you. I love Michael B. Jordan, so.
Yeah, you just like him for just different reasons.
Because he's gorgeous, first off.
That's why I said for different reasons.
And because he's a great actor.
I'm just showing you what.
And he is a likable person.
Okay.
I'm a hater.
I'm not hating. Alright, let's see what I have here. I like how the director, Stephen Caple Jr. is his name, taking over for Ryan Coogler, who just produced the movie. I like how he opened the movie up with showing Ivan Drago and his son and how their life is over there in Russia right now.
Russia is rude. To completely disown the family just because he lost one fight.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
If you've seen Rocky IV, which this is basically like the continuation of, you saw that he was like the prize of Russia always when he was practically like a machine. It was like the country made him to be this unbeatable force. So then when this human over here in the States came to their side of town and beat him.
Shouldn't invite him over there. Should have fought in the U.S.
He was still going to lose the gross. But the fact that he was just like this, he was supposed to represent the country, and they basically created him. So when he lost, it was just like, ugh.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it just shows it's rude. But I like how he started the movie out showing their lifestyle, or their life now, how it's not all glitz and glamour. Struggle. And it really, when you start on the villains, it kind of shows you their importance to the movie. And I watched an interview from the director, and he said he got inspired by The Dark Knight. If you watch The Dark Knight, the movie starts by introducing you to Joker and his gang when they robbed the bus or the bank.
The bank.
Yeah, so that's the beginning of the movie. Like that's the first thing, like you see, is them in the process of committing that heist, and that lets you know from Jump Street that this guy is going to be a serious part of this movie. Like they're taking this character seriously, so you could tell that he took them seriously with the way he started that movie. So I thought that was pretty dope. It's kind of like a bold move to start it out like with those characters when the face of the movie is somebody completely different. What else? From the first boxing moment, I could tell this was a different director. Because if you watch Creed, like Ryan Coogler's boxing scenes, like he had like some one-take scenes, and the punches, his punches were sounded more like dramatic and embellished. Like so, it made the scenes more epic, in my opinion. But when you watch it in the way Caple Jr. did his, you could tell, you could hear the sheer volume of the punches was scaled down by a lot. So it seemed like he took more of a realistic approach. I'm not saying it's better or worse, I'm just saying you could see the difference.
I mean, I could tell the fights were different. How many people did Michael B. Jordan fight in this movie? Just Drago? And did he fight one other person?
Yeah, he fought the guy who won the keys to
did
his
they
stang.
do the little Like how they did in the first movie where whenever a new fighter came on screen, they showed his stats. Did they do that in this movie?
Oh, no. So that's another noticeable thing. I mean, I guess they really didn't need to do that. I mean, they showed like Adonis's like record and stuff, but they didn't really like make it a focus of that.
Yeah, because like every time a new boxer walked in, they would pause and pop up the stats and then continue the movie.
I mean,
And they didn't do that this time.
Yeah,
It's just a
like-
difference that I noticed. Nothing wrong with it.
No, I'm just saying, like, I mean, of course, there's the reason it is because there's a different person doing it, but it also kind of makes sense that he didn't follow that trend because you saw all these different boxers in the first one. In this one, you already know who Adonis is. The first person he fights, you already saw him fight in the first one, and you already know his stats. And then this Victor Drago, they tell his stats, and you don't really like, and it wouldn't follow the feel of the story because this movie felt more darker, like the vibe and the tone felt darker.
Because we kept going to Russia, and Russia's present over there.
Hey, don't be saying that to our
Not the
Russian
whole
viewers.
country, just like, you know, the Drago's experience in Russia was depressing, so
I mean, that brought the level.
brought, you know, the movie to a darker feeling, because everything that was happening to them over there just wasn't okay. His mama didn't love him. His mama left him because his dad lost the fight. His dad started to say that was his fault that his mama left him, which was rude. She left you. She didn't, well, I mean, the baby was with you, but she left you.
She definitely left both of them.
But, like, during the fight, he was like, this is why your mother left, because he was losing. No, she left way before your son lost the fight.
You can
She
tell
left when you lost your fight.
Ivan Drago wasn't the best father. That's until you get to the end where
Yeah,
he
it
makes
seems like they started to kind of make amends towards the end. You know, his dad realized it's more than just
it's an evolution.
fighting in the world. But, you know, it took him a while to do that. His son's 20-something years old. You should have figured that out sooner.
Well, you know this guy, all he knew was fighting, and all he knew was representing his country. So, you know, clearly he's not the best person in the world. All he knows is wanting to do right by his country, and it affects his family. He loses all this stuff, but all he still thinks is country first, son second. So then, you know, he has to go through this whole long journey to come to the end of the movie where he fully realizes that my son, I should put him first over putting what my country thinks about me.
Maybe they should just move to the U.S. We don't disown all the boxers.
Yeah, we also don't care that much about boxing here, really.
So they can come live here. Boxers still make a lot of money. Some of them do.
Very few of them.
They make money. They be alright.
What else do we have here? Also noticed that Adonis and Bianca, we've come back to them, and we end up seeing that they're staying in the same crusty apartment that they were in the first
They
one.
like their crusty apartment, Nathan. Don't hate.
He has made money. He might not be rolling in dough.
And he's rich.
I wouldn't say he's rich. Okay, yeah,
He's rich.
His mom's rich.
He rich.
His mom's rich.
He's rich.
I just thought that was very odd.
Ben had a better apartment, but he's rich.
Y'all can stay in Philadelphia, but the one
Maybe it was sentimental. Maybe they were just like, what's the point of moving right now? We don't really need to. I don't really know what it's like in Philly. Maybe there's not a lot happening.
She knows what it's like in Philly.
I don't know what it's like in Philly. Maybe there's not like a whole bunch of better places to actually live in. They like where they were at.
Yeah, you making Philly seem just terrible.
I said, I don't know. I've never been to Philly.
I'm pretty sure Philadelphia is fine.
Because
It
like
has its
Rocky
rough
was
spots.
a famous guy and he still lived in a not that
Rocky
great.
is just a basic fella. You saw he didn't have a phone or a cell phone. He still had.
Because he old and he didn't want a cell phone, not because he couldn't get one. He just old and was still
He's
using
just basic.
Not
All
that
he's-
he's using the little black book.
Yeah, he old.
He's such an old little man. But, you know, they like their basic apartment. You know, as soon as they moved to L.A., they went and got, like, a really big fancy one.
I mean, you're not going to move all the way across country and get another disgusting rundown in the hood place.
They could have went to the mama's house. What she need a big old house for?
They could, but he didn't want to.
Right. So I'm just saying, you know, they just waited till it was the right time to move. What's the point of wasting money and moving to Philly if maybe they knew long term they weren't staying in Philly?
She just recently brought that up in the movie. Like, what about
Right,
LA?
but maybe they knew, because, you know, they already knew
Place
that
is
they were
trash.
going to start having a family eventually, because he was already planning on marrying the girl. Maybe they were like, you know, long term, this isn't where we're going to be, so why waste money here?
You can't try to sell me the fact that they stay in that place. I
What
don't care what.
ifs?
As soon as I
It's
get a little
two
money.
of them. Why do they need the biggest place in the
Not
world?
the biggest, just a nicer place.
They
even
like
though
their place.
her apartment was nicer compared to the other
To
ones.
his, yeah, his was for some reason like a hole in the wall, and hers, you know, was actually like a home that she could live in. So.
She had mad rooms.
Right.
All right, moving on. So we got in the first fight, as we said earlier, we knew it was going to happen. He was going to overpower him easily, and so that could set up an even more entertaining.
That's a big dude.
He was very giant compared to Adonis. But I like how they didn't make him actually like beat him. They made him get a disqualification from an illegal punch that he threw.
That's funny.
So I thought that made
he could have won had he held back.
Yeah, he just got into his emotions, and that made sense with the character, and that was better than him just beating him, because if he beats him, then the only way they could do a rematch is if
he would agree to it.
Yeah, and what's the point of him agreeing to a rematch when he already came over and did what he wanted to do?
Right.
So I thought that was a good addition to the movie. And during the fight scenes, I noticed we were just talking about what the difference was earlier. This one had like way more first person like point of view punches.
It did have a lot of those.
So I mean, I didn't dislike it or I didn't like love it, but I thought it was a nice way to separate yourself from the person who directed the first joint.
The first joint.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I gotta speak Philly.
Right, the joint.
What else? Ivan Drago, he's still old, bitter, sore loser, blaming Rocky for his life being terrible when all he did was just beat you to avenge the death of his friend. He did the
job. Like, he did his job.
What I thought was weird, or not weird, but I guess it makes sense. Like, in Rocky IV, they talk about how quirky it was compared to stuff or to this movie. And Ivan Drago, like, he even seemed more different because in the first one, or in Rocky IV, he had, like, one-liners, like, if he dies, he dies. They didn't make him.
Disrespectful.
They didn't make him say stuff like that in this movie.
Because he got humbled when he got beat up.
Okay, so then you got of course, the montage training session before the big fight. When Rocky trained to fight the Russian, he was doing it in the cold and the snow, lifting like trees and stuff. They did the complete opposite. In this one, Adonis goes and trains in the desert. I like the contrast there. I don't know if that was intentional, but I mean, it makes sense that you're not going over to... Wait, he did go to Russia?
He did go to Russia.
Okay, so I guess I like it because they didn't follow the same territory.
In LA, so I guess they were like, we're going to have to fight somewhere. We're going to find somewhere you to train you in LA.
But he could have said,
California. I mean, they could have made him fly back somewhere cold, but...
Or they could have, like Rocky did. Rocky trained in Russia, so they could... did he train? I haven't seen Rocky for.
They couldn't go train in Russia. He had a new baby. He wasn't leaving for that long. He was only going
Rocky
for the fight and coming back.
When he left?
That's Rocky ain't Adonis.
I'm just saying.
They different. And maybe, Rocky's babies wasn't deaf and going through things. So, Adonis just wanted to stay close. And I go to Russia and come back when I have to. I'm not going there and staying long term.
Alright, what else do we have? Touching on Drago's character and their Big Drago, not Little Drago. It seemed like they...
Wait, which Drago?
Big Drago.
Oh, the dad.
Yeah. The movie made him seem important. The story was important. I like how they developed it, but it also seemed at the same time he wasn't in the movie as much as the movie portrayed it to be. Like, you're watching, like, oh, they're really delving into these characters' backstory. And I was thinking about, like, it seemed like the way they told his story, it seemed like he should be in the movie more. I mean, they was able to get the point across, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, man.
But I was just noticing, like, I feel like he should have just been more active in the movie. Because him and Rocky had, like, just one conversation, really. I thought they would have a little more interaction.
That disrespectful, man. No, they didn't need no more interaction. That man's disrespectful, killed his friend, he's rude, coming over there to fight for... Not sure what... I mean, I know the reason why, but...
But I think...
Nah.
I just expected him to have more interaction with him, and also Adonis to have more than just that weigh-in little interaction. And that wasn't even really with him, that was more with Victor, because he ended up stepping in. But, it's fine. I thought Dolph Lundgren, whatever his name is, who played Ivan Drago, I thought he did a good job. I thought the whole cast did a good job. He did a good job. Victor Drago, who is his real name is... His nickname is like... Big Nasty, but I forget what his actual first name is.
I need you not to ever call another man Big Nasty.
That's what his name is. I can't remember that's his little nickname.
His name is Florian.
There you go, Florian Big Nasty something.
Montanu.
Well, I'm giving him his nickname, Big Nasty.
I don't like that. I don't think you should ever call another man that.
This was his first movie.
See, I don't even see that anywhere when I search him in Google. I don't see Big Nasty anywhere. So I think
type in his first name, then type in Big Nat, and it'll come up. It'll start coming up.
Just I think a you thing.
It's definitely not just a me thing, but this was his first movie, and I thought he did good. Tessa Thompson, like you said, she did a great job again. Sylvester Stallone, it wasn't as a great. wasn't as great as his first performance in the first Creed, but it was still good nonetheless. And of course, we already said Michael B did a phenomenal job. Let's see. All right, so we come to the end of the movie where we got the last fight between Drago and Creed. Marianne, which is the mom, Adonis's mom.
That was nice of her to come.
I thought they would have made a more bigger. I thought they would have showed him ask her to come to this one because it seems like such a big deal. You didn't want him to fight him the first time, Drago
Right,
the first
and she
time.
didn't come to that one.
Yeah, but they showed him to ask that, but he didn't ask her to come. And then he fight for the second time after not only he got basically almost beat to a pulp the first time, and then also your husband lost or got killed by his father. So you'd think there would have been a moment where they would show in the movie him asking her to be at this fight instead of her. You just watch the movie and they just show like, oh, she actually came to this one.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of reasonable for her to come. Pretty sure they had to bring the new baby in also. She was here to help.
I just thought that would have been a perfect moment to actually show in the movie instead of just assuming.
They already had their conversation about them fighting them again.
But it didn't have to be. They didn't. They didn't.
No, they only
first
had
one.
the first conversation.
Yeah, you think if they would, she would definitely not would have been happy doing or him doing it the second time, especially after what happened to both these guys in their lives coming from the Dragos. So it didn't have to be a long scene. I just thought they would have showed something about it. And the movie oddly breezed over Rocky's whole cancer victory. They mentioned it one time, but they never said that he beat cancer. They just said, I was there for him when he had cancer.
Well, it's been years. Why are we
It's been a few years, and cancer just don't go away like that for everybody.
He already beat it. He beat it in those few years. Why do you guys keep working on it?
Just say it! That was a whole big issue with the first one.
They did say it. I was there for him when he had cancer. He beat it. He walked around. He good.
That's a quick breeze over. You think they would have just like...
Because they're like, this movie doesn't need to focus on, that part of Rocky. They need to focus on Adonis and his...
That is a big character trait of one of your main characters, and that kind of helped push the story forward in the first one. I just thought it was very odd.
And we needed to push it into the story.
Okay, so you just say something at the beginning, resolve it, and then keep it pushing. Don't just breeze over it midway through the movie. Like, wait, did he just say something about him? I haven't cancer no more, I'm not sure.
That was their resolve.
I was talking about the director, but just to mention his performance in the movie, I thought he did a great job taking over for Ryan Coogler. Ryan Coogler is now like one of the biggest directors out there, seeing how he has the highest grossing movie this year and one of the highest grossing movies of all time with Black Panther. And he also killed it with Creed, so he's up there at the upper echelon of directors who's doing it now. So the fact that he was able to step in for him in this movie and do a comparable job, kudos to him.
Wait, did they talk about it in the beginning of the movie?
Did they? Because if they did,
I think they might have.
When
he was hyping him up for the fight and how he said that he fought or something.
All that was breeze. I need a specific. Say it.
They're dudes. Dudes don't always go into detail, Nathan.
The movie.
No, it's real life. Dudes are complicated and y'all don't speak about everything, so they did.
This movie ain't full of dudes, so.
But the two main characters are dudes, so why are we expecting them to have full conversations?
Not full, just some specific line that just tells you, like, okay, I know that he doesn't have cancer anymore.
I think they talked about it in the opening part.
Okay, when I rewatch the movie again, I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to listen with all ears.
I don't think it was huge, but I think they talked about it a bit.
Let's see. Victor Drago, I thought it was great as the antagonist in this movie. He had like the physical presence in it. I thought the way he made him fight.
He's emotional.
Yeah, he definitely.
He wanted to cry about his mom.
Okay, well, he wanted his mom, and his whole life was messed up for reasons that really wasn't his fault. So of course
it wasn't his fault, but his mom was mad disrespectful. So about that lady, you just gonna leave just because? Forget her.
What else?
I mean, you could have left and took your baby like that. Like, you didn't have to leave your baby with the man just because you was, what's the word, embarrassed by him. You could take your baby.
Yeah, Bridget Nielsen is trash. We know that. And I was looking at her like, is that Bridget Nielsen? And it is.
I don't know who that is. I mean, I know who the actress is now that you're saying that's who plays her in the movie, but I don't know what else she's from.
Well, she was from Rocky IV, so that's why I was like, oh, did they get her in this movie? And I was like,
oh, was she the wife from Rocky IV?
Yeah.
Oh, look at them bring the same person.
But when I was watching the movie, I was thinking back to when she had the little reality show with Flavor Flav and how she was looking back then, or looking then. She was looking rough, so I was like, she don't look as rough as she was looking then, but I guess that's a movie makeup for you. What else? The movie, like the first one, just really gets you into the
Baby.
into the vibe and into the whole.
She's
just
had a
the
baby
story.
at 55.
Hey, good for her.
Why are you popping out babies at 55? You could be tired.
Yeah, so this movie just makes you feel, just for the character, like I said earlier, really just root for. You really just get into the story and think like it's a real life things. It didn't have it as the same like level as the first one, because every time I watch the first one I feel the same way, but this tried to continue on with that same vibe.
She was married to Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, that sounds right, wouldn't you?
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the build up of the final fight, like the whole emotional roller coaster the movie tries to push you through, it was still there, but comparing it to the first one, which it's natural to do, didn't have me super pumped, but it still had me pumped up. I'm just saying, the first one had me super amped. This
Nope,
one
I was
just,
still pumped.
okay. Okay, which one would you say is better then? This one or that one?
I'm not saying one's better than the other because I love them both.
Okay, if you had gun to your head and you had to make a decision.
There is no gun to my head. I love them both.
Gosh. Just pick one. Which one?
Why do I?
You don't even have to mean it. Just pick one.
No, they're equally great.
Oh my gosh. So you like them evenly?
Yes, I just said that.
So they're both the same quality to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
You like the first one better. I like them both equally.
All right. So what are you giving this? What are you giving this?
Giving
movie?
it an honorary Bianca and Adonis, which is a 5 for this week because it's Creed week.
I'm really teetering. Should I give it a 5 or a super high 4?
What? Why would you not give it a 5?
5s are meant for like just it's up there. It's like I don't even
Did you
think
just say it was one of your favorite movies of the year and you're not going to give it a 5? Wow.
I wouldn't give every one of my favorite movies of the year a 5.
Wow.
But it might be. I would need time to think about it. I don't even know where it sits. I know it's not ahead of a certain movie, but it's
What movie?
To Avengers Infinity War.
Oh.
But after that, I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint where it will fall. But alright, I'll just give it a nice 5, aka Jack and Rose.
It's an honorary
Or this week Adonis and Bianca.
just for these 2 weeks. Because it's Creed week.
Jack and Rose. Alright, so that is Creed 2. Go check it out if you have not seen it yet. I plan on definitely seeing it again.